My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Fan Takeover Johnny Gargano. And so here we have the Fan Takeover Johnny Gargano pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Johnny Gargano does come with 3 different pairs of hands. We do get a pair of fists. We get a pair of clinching hands. Then we get a pair of flat palmed hands. Johnny Gargano's final accessory is his entrance vest, which looks really nice. I am disappointed it is missing the 3 slashes along the chest, but it's still a really good sculpt, and I do like this figure overall. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at Johnny Gargano. And so here we have a closer look at Johnny Gargano, and I really do like this face sculpt, don't get me wrong, it's a really good likeness to Johnny Gargano. I just kind of wish that Mattel had updated it just a little bit. I know Johnny Gargano kind of has the same look throughout his NXT career, but there is something to note about this particular gear that he's wearing, that the hair isn't correct. His hair is actually too long. His hair should actually be shorter, especially along the sides and the back. It should actually be a little bit faded, which unfortunately this figure doesn't do right. He uses the exact same Johnny Gargano head sculpt that we've seen for, since we've been getting Johnny Gargano figures. It's not a bad head sculpt. I just have to point out that it's not accurate. It's a little bit too bushy right here on the sides and at the top, and we should see a little bit of fading on the sides, but overall, I still think it's a really nice likeness to Johnny Gargano. They could have done so much worse, but thankfully it does look like Johnny wrestling here, so that's a really good thing. With the head sculpt out of the way, let's actually move on to his torso now. We do have the really shredded torso that we've seen on all the Johnny Gargano Elite figures. I think the Hall of Fame series, or not the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Champions series, used the Daniel Bryan body, which that's not really how Johnny looks. He kind of has like a shredded body. Maybe this one's too shredded though. Maybe it's supposed to be an in-between body, but it still looks good on Johnny wrestling here. I kind of wish that the arms reflected the same as his torso, but his arms aren't as shredded as his torso, so I guess I can let it slide. So I really do like the way this came out, and one thing I do want to touch base on before we go on with the rest of the video is his entrance vest. Yes, it is an entrance vest that we get with Johnny Gargano, but something I do like is that this is a completely new sculpt, or it's retooled from his previous version. There's no mold lines on it, so it's a really smooth sculpt. In fact, the only sculpted pieces are the zipper and the clips right here on the side, and then of course the back of it. But other than that, it's a completely new sculpt. Now, yeah, unfortunately we don't get the slashes along the chest. I think it's a copyright issue. Now, we all know what gear this is supposed to represent, and I know what they were going for, but yeah, just like with the top pick Seth Rollins, it didn't have the X on it. This can't have the slashes on it, so that is a little bit unfortunate. But we do have the NXT right here on the bottom part of it, and it does look really nice. Now, continuing on with the Wolverine motif, he does have the claws right here on his wristbands, and that looks so cool. I am actually surprised that they got the claws. They can't have the slashes, but they got the claws, so that's a really nice little detail. We do have the emoji right here, which looks really nice, and then the red band going along his trunks. On the back you can see it says Johnny Wrestling in that X-Men style font, which looks really nice. I do like that. Going on to his legs, you can see that they did paint his knee pads just a little bit above his knee. That is accurate. Johnny Gargano does wear knee pads and then a supporter pad underneath that, so this is pretty accurate. And on the left knee pad we do have Johnny Wrestling. On the right knee pad we have that emoji, and it looks funny. It's really nice. I do like it. And something I really do like about this figure, we got the right kick pads. Thankfully Mattel listened to us and gave us proper kick pads for Johnny Gargano here. If you remember, he had those really short kick pads that came to like the middle of his shin, And then going up, they just painted skin tone. That looked terrible. This looks so much better. If every Johnny Wrestling had this particular kick pad, it'd be an amazing figure. But unfortunately, 2 out of the 3 Johnny Wrestlings that we've gotten have had those really ugly kick pads, and really didn't like that. But really excited that we got proper fitting kick pads on this Johnny Gargano, and that's probably the high point of this figure, is that they fixed the error of their ways. Hopefully they just scrap that entire little kick pad sculpt out and throw it away, because nobody, and I mean nobody in wrestling, wears kick pads to the shin. That's just not how kick pads work. Really do like the blues and the yellows. They work so nice together here. The Wolverine motif is very strong with this figure. I kind of wish that his tights had a little more yellow in them, but honestly that's just me. So really digging this figure. So what we're going to do now is actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Johnny Gargano posed next to an Ultimate Edition's Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And so here we have the Fan Takeover Johnny Gargano posed next to the Elite 70 Johnny Gargano. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. Johnny Gargano does have the standard Elite articulation. We do have a ball joint in the head, which does let him look up. He can look down a little bit, so I do like the fact that we get some up and downward mobility. He can tilt his head side to side really nicely, and of course does turn left and right. A little bit stiff going to the right. There we go. I got that joint to move. But yeah, it does move left and right, no problem. Arms are on ball joints that go out to the side to about right there, where they go all the way around, no problem. Swivel at the bicep. We do have a single bend at the elbow, giving us 90 degrees. Then we have a swivel and hinge at the wrist. We do have an ab crunch, which does lean back about that far, and he can lean forward about that far, which it's acceptable, could be much better in my honest opinion. We do have waist rotation, which does work fine. Legs do kick forward to about right there. They kick back out to the side, a little bit stiff, but yeah, they do go all the way out, so you can have Johnny doing karate crazy kicks, so that is there. We do have upper thigh rotation, double bend at the knee, a little bit hindered by his knee pads, but you can get that joint to work. It's just going to bunch up because of his knee pad, unfortunately. We do have rotation here at the boot. Then we have a hinge in the ankle going back and forward. And then of course we have really solid rocker ankle. So overall, Johnny Wrestling here is an outstanding figure in terms of detail, sculpt, and articulation. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Fan Takeover Johnny Gargano posed for my final thoughts. Overall, this is a huge improvement over the previous Johnny Gargano figures that we've gotten in the past. I really was not a fan of those calf-high kick pads that nobody ever has worn in the history of wrestling. I have no idea why they made that sculpt, but they have used it on several wrestlers such as Eric. Seth Rollins had them at one point. Every Johnny Gargano figure has had them, and they're just terrible sculpt. And like I said, I am really glad that Mattel decided to revamp this figure and give us the proper kick pads. It makes the figure look so much better. If they had gone with the original kick pads, I honestly would have debated picking this figure up, to be quite honest. But the fact that he got those updated kick pads, it brings a lot to the figure. It's something that you don't really notice until you see it compared to other figures. But yeah, those kick pads do make a difference. Now, Johnny Gargano here has a lot of nice accessories. I do like the fact that he comes with 3 pairs of hands. The vest is a really nice accessory. I kind of wish that we got at least the scratches on it, but again, it's probably a trademark issue and they didn't want to get into a legal battle, so they completely left it off, which I completely understand. But at least it gives them leeway to use the sculpt for more Johnny Gargano figures in the future, and that's something I'm really looking forward to. Overall, really happy with this Johnny Gargano figure, and if you are looking for the WWE Takeover, Fan Takeover Johnny Gargano, excuse me, I'm thinking of NXT Takeover, but yeah, the Fan Takeover Johnny Gargano is still available on Amazon at the time of making this video, so if you haven't already picked them up, definitely do it. You're really going to love this figure. If you're a fan of Johnny Gargano or just a fan of Johnny Wrestling himself, you need this figure in your collection. Plus, They updated his kick pads. I can't say that enough. That's one high point of this figure, is those updated kick pads. So, with that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you'd like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.